Ramanathan så heter USAs nya ambassadör, för USA har ju varit utan ambassadör under lång tid här i Sverige. Men för några veckor sedan så flyttar han hit till Stockholm tillsammans med sin make och deras gemensamma tonårsbarn. Den nya ambassadören står inför många utmaningar och min kollega Jenny Alvesjö och fotografen Felix Larne har träffat honom i hans bostad här i Stockholm.
It's a wonderful place to call home, and Stockholm is a wonderful place to call home. Yeah.
What is your relation to Sweden and Stockholm?
So I've been coming here for over 30 years since 1990 was my first trip here, and I've come back as often as I've been able to really just continue taking a look around and to be a midsummer tourist and to visit some friends I've made over the years.
How would you describe yourself to the Swedish people?
Well, I'd say I'm an extrovert. I'm an optimist, and of course, like so many others, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm someone who cares deeply about social justice and service to others. So I've reached the point in my life when I've had a lot of wonderful success, and I also look forward to giving back. Yeah.
New on the job, any first impressions?
Oh, it's been such a warm welcome here. Everything from the meetings I've had with government ministers to events that I've gone to just meeting people out walking my dogs. It's just been such a kind and warm welcome. And I really look forward to fully making the most of the position because we have so much to do together.
Definitely. You spell Eric with a K. Do you have any Swedish background?
So I was actually named after a Swede who was in Minnesota, where my mother lived when she was pregnant with me. So I happily use the E-R-I-K spelling of my name. I was one of the very few in the 1970s in the United States to have that spelling, and it's been a badge of pride. And now, by the way, I think probably at least a third of the Erics in the United States are E-R-I-K. So it's a very popular way to do it.
You are the first openly gay American ambassador to Sweden. What does that mean to you in a personal level?
Well, it's a huge honor. Obviously, I'm not the first gay ambassador that the United States has had. I'm not even the first with a multiracial family or the first with a school-aged child. But at the same time, it is the first time here in Sweden, and Sweden has been such a pioneer in LGBT rights over the years. So it's a real privilege to be in a country where I know we can work together. I look forward to talking with the LGBT communities here in Sweden about what more work there is to do, but really our ability to serve as a beacon to the world, because LGBTQ human rights are very much at the cutting edge of human rights around so much of the world right now. These are the folks who are, often among the most persecuted and having the greatest, legal challenges and other issues around the world. So I really hope that we have the ability to collaborate and work on that together.
But it must have been a long struggle for you and your husband, Ranesh, to be able to live together in America and get married, have children. It's quite a journey. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, my husband and I have been together for 31 years. We just had our 31st anniversary the other day.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And we weren't able to be fully legally married in a way that was recognized across the United States until just about a decade ago. So not only marriage is, obviously there have been so many other issues that the LGBT community has faced and still faces: discrimination in employment, discrimination in housing, the the way that folks are persecuted around the world. My husband is actually one of the first sexual orientation-based asylees to the United States. So we struggled for many years to literally have the ability to stay together. So to have that behind us is, of course, a huge relief. But I think we really owe it to people to have a ladder up, for those facing those issues, not only in the United States, but around the world. And it's our obligation. I take service very, very personally, and really think it's important to, to have that kind of impact. And it's not just about us and having already past most of that insecurity in our own lives, but how do we help the next folks to have the same kind of success and to have opportunity available to them?
But I can tell it's an important part of you, isn't it? I mean, to be open about it and talk about the journey.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's our obligation to talk about the journey. Obviously, this is a very public role as well, and I would be doing a great disservice not to be public. But we always have striven to really talk about our experience, because there are so many folks struggling around the world, and it's our hope to lift them up. I hope people will follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all those channels, as we'll try to really share with the Swedish people what we're working to do.
Another part, Mr. Ambassador, is that you come to Sweden and Europe when tensions are escalating between Russia and the West. The Swedish government has described the situation as the most dangerous since the Cold War. What are your thoughts about the current situation right now?
Well, we are also very concerned, and we have been working tirelessly to try to provide a diplomatic off-ramp to Russian aggression in Ukraine. It's a voyage on which we're united with our European allies and partners, including Sweden. And we, continue to stay in sync and stay unified as a team, and that ultimately is the best form of deterrence and chance for Russia to really choose the path of de-escalation, the path of diplomacy. There's so many things that we can use to talk about reciprocally our mutual security, but right now de-escalation needs to happen, and we are concerned.
How would you describe the bond between Sweden and the States today? Is it strong?
Oh, it's incredibly strong. We work really closely together on defense and security cooperation. So we have a bilateral relationship between the U.S. and Sweden around military exercises, interoperability, research and development, our multilateral actions in the world. So these are areas that we, as Sweden increases its defense spending at historically high levels and works to get to 1.5% GDP just in the current budget, we have more and more opportunities to really figure out how we can coordinate around that. Of course, Sweden is also a NATO Enhanced Opportunities partner, and there's no NATO partner that's been more active and committed. So the work with NATO that we do together is also incredibly important and also very, very well coordinated. And my job as ambassador will be partly to help grow and deepen that relationship.
So, Mr. Ambassador, do you think Sweden should actually join NATO?
It's ultimately for Sweden to decide. It is a bedrock principle, and something we see in the Ukraine situation as well, that every sovereign nation must have the ability to choose its own security arrangements. And that goes for Ukraine, and that goes for Sweden. It's ultimately, as I said, there's no partner currently of NATO that's more active than Sweden, even though not a member. And we look forward to continuing that. NATO has an open door policy, and there's little doubt that if Sweden were to want to join, their arms would be open to that. But no matter what, it is Sweden's decision.
Too open, according to Putin.
Well, that is part of choice and sovereignty is what it means to be a nation.
Do you think President Biden will come and visit you here?
Well, I really look forward to the pandemic calming down so that I can have, a stream of folks coming, not just officials, but also musicians and artists and tourists and business leaders and students. I mean, that's part of what makes this a fascinating job, and part of what makes the relationship between our countries so vibrant is those people-to-people ties.
But he's your boss. Are you going to work to get him here, maybe?
Well, of course, I would be incredibly honored if he's able. I know he was here as vice president, and I will certainly advocate for that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
USAs nya ambassadör alltså, Janne Alvesjö och Felix Larne gjorde den här fina intervjun.